If you want to turn an image into a layered shadow box, this guide walks you through the full process. Let's get started. First, open Shadowbox Maker in MakerLab. Click Create from Blank. This creates a new Shadowbox project. Next, import an image. You can upload your own file or choose an example image from the panel on the right. As soon as the image loads, you'll see the image crop window pop up. This step is important. This is where you frame the part you actually want to turn into a shadow box. Adjust the crop area to frame what matters most in the image. Choose a ratio if you need one. Now you're in the editor. This is where the image starts turning into a layered design. On the left, you'll see tools like pan, brush, wand, pencil, and eraser. Each tool gives you a different way to control how the image is separated into layers. At the bottom, there's a layer counter. That counter matters because each layer you create becomes a physical layer in the final print. Here's the key idea behind a shadow box. Instead of treating the image as one flat surface, we divide it into multiple pieces, each one sitting at a different depth. That depth is what creates the shadow box effect. The wand helps you select regions based on contrast and boundaries in the image. Next, set the intensity. If the intensity is too strong, the wand can grab areas you didn't intend to select, which can cause layers to merge together. If the intensity is too low, it won't capture enough of the region, so it's normal to adjust the value based on what you see highlighted on screen. Now click the region you want to turn into a layer. When the selection looks right, click Apply. You should see a new layer thumbnail appear below, and the layer count increase. You might also see a tip called How to Choose a Layer. The simple rule is this: each layer should be assemblable. Start with a base layer that can stand on its own cleanly. Then, build each next layer from the previous one, so every piece has structure and support. This helps avoid floating or fragile parts when the shadow box is assembled. Repeat the wand and apply process layer by layer until you build the depth you want. Once your layers are set, you'll also see the option to choose layer colors. This step is optional. If you're exporting in light shadow mode, this step isn't necessary, and you may skip it because the final result doesn't depend on color. To change a layer's color, select the layer, then click Change Color. Choose a color for that layer, and apply the change. Now do this for each layer. Before exporting the shadow box, there's one more important step: adding connectors. Connectors are what allow all of the printed layers to align and assemble correctly. To add connectors, click Add Connectors. You will notice a frame appears around your design. It is important to understand that this connector frame is defined by the settings you chose at the very beginning. The shape isn't random, it is generated based on your initial crop and aspect ratio. Once these connectors are in place, the design is fully structural, and you are ready to export the 3MF file for printing. There are a few ways to import your 3MF file into the slicer. The simplest method is to just drag and drop the file from your computer directly onto the build plate. Alternatively, you can go to the menu and select File, Import, and then Import 3MF. However, regardless of how you bring the file in, whether you do this before or after importing, make sure to check your slicer settings. Start by checking the selected printer. In this case, we're using the Bambu Lab H2D. Make sure the printer selected matches the machine you'll be printing on. Next, check the nozzle size. For shadow boxes, a 0.4mm nozzle diameter is a good default, because it balances detail and print time across all layers. If you're using a different nozzle size, it's important to confirm that here. Then check the build plate type. Make sure the selected plate matches what's actually on the printer. Confirming these settings early helps avoid failed prints later. You'll see that each shadow box layer is already placed on its own build plate. This happens automatically because shadow boxes are designed to print one layer at a time. This is where multiplate comes into play. One benefit of this approach is control. Because each layer is placed on its own plate, you can adjust print settings on a per-plate basis. You can also rename plates, reorder them, or choose to print them separately, depending on your workflow. This makes longer prints easier to manage and easier to recover if something needs to be reprinted. If you exported using multicolor mode, you'll also see any colors you assigned earlier already mapped in the slicer, so there's no need to set them again. Once you're happy with the plate layout and print settings, you're ready to slice. Once all plates are sliced and you've reviewed the previews, you're ready to print. Select the plate you want to print first. Then click Print Plate. When it's finished, you can move on to the next plate. Once all layers are complete, you're ready for assembly. At this point, the full workflow is complete. You've gone from an image to layered design to printed shadow box. See you in the next one. Happy printing!